I know from my experience in New York and also Washington, D.C., in the apartment buildings, is that there seems like there's a lot of noise in the hallway. People are coming and people are coming in from going out. They've got their friends over. Seems like once they get behind their door, it's not so bad. But there is always that problem with highs and lows of sound in the hallway.
Well, hallways in New York, for the vast majority of them, because of maintenance, they have very reflective surfaces. So they have tile on the floor.
Good point.
Just drywall on the walls, drywall ceiling, or concrete, or something that's very reflective, which makes an echo chamber out of the hallway. So any noise, even if it's way down the hallway, just bounces around through there, and every time it bounces, it adds to the volume in the room. So
if it's noisy to begin with, it's just getting even noisier.
It gets even noisier. Now, what happens with that noise when it comes to the resident is that it comes through the entry door. Now, in most cases, an entry door will have a space around the edge of the door where the jamb is, and across the bottom, where to allow for the operation of the door. Very normal and very typical.
We have to have somewhat of a gap.
You do have to have somewhat of a gap.
Yeah.
However, the noise control industry has developed treatments for that and equipment that can be put into place. Now, it's somewhat similar to weather stripping, but it's much more sophisticated, and it fits onto the door jamb and the door in such a way that you can really seal that air. So you get the air sealed off, and then the noise stops coming in.
Well, because sound travels through air. I remember from science at school, it's air.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite little things to say is where air goes, noise goes.
That's right.
And if you have 1% of a barrier that's leaking, you double the noise that's coming in. So if you take that space that you say it's a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, then doors are about 17 square feet around.
Right.
So that's a square inch. And then the space at the bottom typically will be a 1/2 inch. So you've got another...
You've been thinking about this.
Oh, I think about it every day. Are you kidding me? So then you end up with a space that's about like this. Like about two...
I think let me translate to the audience. I think what Mr. White's saying is if you take the gap and add it all up at the round and at the bottom, you end up with
a hole in your door.
It's
hole. Like, hello. So, the noise comes in. Well, you squeeze that off, shut it off, and now the noise doesn't come through because the air is no longer passing through, so the noise doesn't come with it. And it really works well. And silence is not an option.
Right.
You can only reduce noise in most...
It's New York City.
In the vast majority of cases, a substantial reduction in noise, and achieving that makes people much happier with their lives. And that's a two-way street, because not only do you have issues from noise in the hallway, but you have issues from the interior of your apartment. Let's just say you've got a yappy dog. Yeah. And every time somebody goes by your door, the dog naturally, just because it's, instinctively, is going to go bark at the door. That's where the noise is coming from.
So the point you're making is you could stop it going out and coming in.
Yeah. The vast majority of doors can be really silenced in terms of transfer of noise through the door. And that's, like I said, it's a two-way street. We don't only do residential, we do commercial as well. So any office applications have similar problems, and we have similar fixes.
Now, with regards to the door, what kind of money are we talking about?
Well, we're running a special at $4.99.
$4.99, and that's to take the door off, get that hole sealed up.
There's so much variety in the source of the noise, the type of the noise, and the sensitivity of the receiver. And there's a variety of what may be composing the barrier itself. So all the walls are different, doors are different. What we treat is that space around the door where the air is passing through.
Right.
And in most cases, that is the weakest point in the barrier. So part of my advice to most people is fix the obvious things, reevaluate, and then add additional treatments if they're needed. Because we like to achieve the goals of the customer without spending all of their money.
Well, without, having a volumeter or whatever, just give me a ballpark on the reduction in sound from the door treatment that you do.
I generally say half of the noise.
Wow.
Yes.
Half the noise.
Half the noise. Now, that's generally about a 10 decibel difference.
Okay.
Some doors we get 15, 18. Some doors we don't get but 8.
And that's for $4.99, people. So for $499, you can make not just your life better because that's the noise coming in, but your neighbor's life better because that's the noise going out.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got a feeling of security. People aren't listening to what you're saying. People can't hear your dog. They can't. Now, I'm assuming that it would actually help with smells. Maybe you wouldn't smell the curry wafting down the hallway.
I mean, a lot of times you can smell what the neighbor's making for dinner.
Yeah.
So it's the same way as you can hear what the neighbor's got to say when he walks down the hallway.
And you can honestly tell us, in all honesty, that you can fix that problem.
I have solutions for most of the problems I've ever encountered. And the challenges of something new excites me.
Yeah. Okay, so this gentleman here, if you pick up the phone and call him, will come to your apartment, check out the job, talk to you about the solutions, and this month only, Manhattan is lucky enough to be offered a $499 special. I think that sounds like a great deal. So please, 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 do something about all that noise.